With the latest update in Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade on the global side of the game, we got the potential unlocking routes, and a lot of people are going to be tempted to work on their best characters. They're going to want to work on Domain Expansion Gojo, they're going to want to work on Sukuna, because yes, it does make them stronger. However, for those characters, they do not have the SP potential unlock squares available to them. It is characters that are older that have these already available to them. Think of these like the EZAs in Dokkan Battle, right? It's basically going to take old characters and bring them into relevance and make them as good as some of the newer characters, or it's supposed to, okay? Not every character that got these SP potential unlocking squares becomes insanely broken, okay? For example, Red Maki here, if we go into her potential route, right? She has the SP potential unlock for both of these. If we go in and look at them, this one, all the yellow text right here is the updated stuff. It increased her damage, and then now she also gets 20% ultimate gauge fill rate increase for 3 turns and 30% physical technique increase to sell for 2 turns. That is good because it's extra damage and she gets her ultimate faster, but I wouldn't say it's anything like groundbreaking, right? And then for this skill over here, it's going to change that her damage scales so she gets a little bit more damage. That's all that really does. So basically for Red Maki, her big update or buff to bring her back into relevance was more damage, which didn't really work. So some characters are definitely like bigger winners than others and moved up the tier list like significantly compared to other characters that got these buffs. So I'm going to go over all these characters that got buffs. However, I'm not going to go over every single buff because that would just be a very, very long video. Feel free to go and take a look at each of these characters individually if you want. What I am going to do though is I'm going to go over the top 3 characters that I think you guys should be investing in for their potential unlock routes and unlocking those squares, right? So just to go over the characters that did get these buffs in this first update, which is more than JP got originally, I do believe, which is insane. Red Maki got the buff. Red Panda got the buff. Both of those characters got the buff, neither of them being in my top 3. Blue Megami also got the buff. Actually, also not my top 3, but I would say he's tied for like a joint 4th place with a couple of other characters. So he's like a 4th place character. And then we also had Toto get the buff. Not Red Toto though. It was Blue Toto with Takata. And I don't even know where I have him. Oh, there he is. He's literally right in front of me. I'm just blind sometimes. So Blue Takata and Toto got the buff as well. And then we also had Green Itadori, who got the buff with the hidden potential route, and now that he got his buff on the hidden potential route, I will say it does make him one of the top 3 characters I would invest in. We'll go over why here in a minute, but he is definitely one of the top 3 now. Very, very good. Huge buff to him. We also had Ratio Technique Nanami get that buff as well, so Green Nanami got a buff. And then we had, after Nanami, we had Girl of Steel, Nobra Kugisaki. So Yellow Nobra, wherever she is, Yellow Nobra got the buff as well. And then we had Yellow Mekamaru get the buff too. And we also had, this one's big, Jogo, the free-to-play Cursed Spirit, right? He got the buff. And he is one of my top 3 units as well to invest in. So far we have Itadori and Jogo, who are top 3 units to invest in after this update for the potential routes. And then we also got the Red Nobra, who got the buff as well. So not just Yellow Nobra, but Red Nobra got the buff as well. And she is actually my number 1 unit that you guys should be working on for the hidden potential route. It makes her so much better. And then last but not least, we have Green Saki. Green Saki, who I actually don't have because I didn't pull her, also got the buff, but it's not really worth going over her because once again, it didn't make her super broken. So most of these characters got buffs, some of them better than others. Like I would say Megami, once again, for a joint 4th place with like Yellow Nobra and Green Nanami. Green Nanami is also all equally good. Yellow Nobra, Green Nanami, Blue Megami, all equally good. But then the other 3 characters that stand above them, I would say Itadori got one of the biggest buffs, Jogo got one of the biggest buffs, and Red Nobra also got one of the biggest buffs. So we're going to start with my 3rd place pick, which is going to be Itadori. So Itadori, with his SP potential route, deals melee attack damage equal to 430%, now up to 500% of physical technique for 4 hits in total, and applies 51.6%, now up to 60% crit resist decrease to them for 2 turns to target enemies, and applies 15% ultimate gauge fill rate increase for 3 turns to self. Black flash rate on the 4th hit of physical technique damage, medium. Black flash damage multiplier is extra large. And then if we look over here, This is pretty big. When Self launches a Black Flash, recovers 10 cursed energy for Self, and he just hits Black Flashes like crazy if you know anything about this character. Applies 100% Black Flash rate increase to Self for 3 turns, and applies 30% physical technique increase to Self for 3 turns. Applies a zone status to Self for 3 turns. When in zone status, increases 100% Black Flash rate, increases 50% damage dealt during Black Flash, increases 100% physical technique. That is just a huge damage buff for this character. And like, while I said like Maki's not that great for the damage buff, like this is an insane damage buff. Like this is actually freaking ridiculous how much it does. And then being the fact that you get cursed energy back when you hit Black Flashes, and he's just a Black Flash machine, is going to be very, very good. And also we're reducing their crit resist by even more percentage, so it's going to be easier to hit crits and Black Flashes at the same time. Overall, this is just going to allow you to hit those really big damage numbers, and it's going to allow Itadori to be one of the best sustainable green characters in the game. Like, so right now, Hollow Purple Gojo is a character that a lot of people use. However, Hollow Purple Gojo is only good for nuking, if I could speak correctly, whereas Itadori is going to be really good for that long-term like damage sustain that you would be looking for. So I do think that potential unlock buff for him is going to be very, very good, and definitely a character you should invest in. My number 2 choice is actually Jogo. So Jogo got a pretty nice buff this time around. So domain expansion extended from 4 to 5 turns, which is really good. And then also now it's going to go from increasing your critical rate from 197 to 200% crit rate, increases damage dealt from 59% to 60% damage dealt. It's not like big changes right there, but it's something, right? And then increases 15% curse technique, increases 15% physical technique, applies a 30% damage taken decrease now, recovers 80 cursed energy for Self. That's pretty big, from 60 to 80. Deals ranged attack damage equal to 800% of Curse Technique, and continuous damage equal to 150% of Curse Technique to all enemies. After using Ghost Lights during Domain Expansion, Coffin of the Iron Mountain applies 15% Cursed Technique increase to Self for 3 turns, recovers 10 Cursed Energy for Self. So now he can recover Cursed Energy when using skills, and he gets additional damage. Like, that's a big buff to his Domain Expansion just overall. Like, that's really good. And then the Cursing Talent. When battle starts, applies chance evasion to Self. Evasion rate of 15%. That is huge. That is huge. That is so much better. When turn starts, applies 10% damage dealt increase to Self for 1 turn. The effect scales with Self's cursed energy when applying up to 30%. Maximum when cursed energy is 60%. That's pretty good. So an extra 30% damage dealt potentially. And then when turn starts, if Self's cursed energy is no more than 10, can be used only 3 times in battle, recovers 10 cursed energy for Self. But basically, it's just going to make him more survivable with more damage overall. And honestly, getting cursed energy back on top of that is going to be huge. Like, this buff is so good. It's so good. So it brings Jogo definitely back into relevance. And I'm going to show you guys the tier list for JP after this, because the JP tier list is based on the current updates with all of these characters. So you can see where they now sit on the tier list and decide for yourself if you want to actually invest in these characters or not. And then last but not least, my number 1 pick for upgrading the potential unlock route is going to be Red Nobra. So Red Nobra was okay before, but now she is a little bit of a beast, like actually really, really good. So SP potential unlock route number 1, Straw Doll Technique Hairpin. Previously applies 217.5% damage dealt increase to Self for 1 time. Effect scales with target's cursed nail counts up to 942%. Maximum when cursed nail counts are 11. Additionally, now applies 15% ultimate gauge charge fill rate increase for 3 turns. This means she's going to be able to get her ultimate back faster, which is actually huge when it comes to stacking your nails. That's really, really good. Deals ranged attack damage to enemies with cursed nail count equal to 376%, now up to 400% of cursed technique. And we have this additional part now, applies 12.5% curse technique damage taken increase of gen attribute to the enemies for 3 turns. The effect scales with target curse nail counts up to 25%. So you can get 25% additional damage for 3 turns stacked up, in addition to the extra damage you get from already having nails, which is really good. Maximum when curse nail counts are 6. That's really good. Removes curse nail counts. And then additionally now, Curse energy consumption changes with all enemies' curse nail counts. So 1 to 4 times it's 25, 5 to 9 times it's 40, 10 times or above it's 50. So that's better because before it cost a ton of cursed energy to do this skill, so that's going to be good. And then the SP block 2, Zone In. When self launches a Black Flash, applies 45% curse technique increase to self, now from 6 turns up to 8 turns. That is good. That is really good. Applies 25% damage dealt increase to self for 8 turns. That's so good. That's huge. And recovers 15 curse energy to self. Like, that is a massive, massive buff. And I could, like I said, go through everybody's like buffs and stuff like that. Some people got like cooler buffs than others. Like, for example, Red Panda can now draw aggro from all enemies for 1 turn, as opposed to drawing aggro or provocating 1 enemy for 2 turns. Like, he can still do that, but now he draws aggro for 1 turn. So some characters have like cooler buffs, but that buff doesn't really do a whole lot. He also reduces damage to all allies by 10% now. If he could reduce that damage to all allies by like 30%, I think he would have been a lot better. So like, there's cool buffs for these characters, just some of them weren't the amount of like damage or defense or like stuff that you needed to actually make those characters good. So unfortunately, the rest of the characters that I didn't really like go over their kits individually didn't get super buffed and don't look super great. But let me show you guys the JP tier list and show you where these characters currently sit with these buffs on JP. All right, so starting with the top tier, triple S tier, none of them make triple S tier, right? That's just straight up. However, for double S tier, right, we have Yuta, we have Gato, we have Yellow Megami, all these characters that are insanely good, right? If you have the new Zone Itadori, he's up there. Notice that Red Nobra is up here in double S tier. That is how good she is after the Hidden Potential update. Like, that is massive for her. And then in S plus tier, we do have green Itadori right there, and we also have blue Jogo. Jogo and Itadori both making S plus tier. That's going to be really good characters for you to invest in just in the long term, because they will only get better with time. And then down here in S tier is where we have the other characters that I said would be in 4th place, right? So blue Megami, yellow Nobra, green Nanami. Technically Saki's here as well, right? So 4 characters kind of share the joint 4th place. And then below that, you have the other characters even lower down on the tier list. This tier list only goes down to B tier, by the way, but Red Maki's still at the bottom of the tier list, unfortunately. Red Panda, pretty low down here. Yellow Mechamaru is still pretty low down here, right? So in general, my top 3 characters, once again, that I think you guys should be investing in for the new potential unlock routes is going to be Red Nobra, number 1, green Itadori, number 3, and then Jogo, number 2. I personally like Jogo a little bit better than Itadori, but I mean, it's debatable on which one you want to say is technically better out of the 2. But that is it for the video, guys. Hopefully this helps you out, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.